And this has been a conversation everywhere on social media. We're seeing, different people come up with different theories as to how this matter should have been handled. And this morning I'm joined by Ms. Christine Ochieng. She's the Executive Director of FIDA. Very good morning to you, and thanks for joining us. And the first question is, 2015 is here, and we're still seeing, domestic violence stories in the media. Is this a trend that is going down? Are we making progress in ending this menace, or have we stagnated as a country?
According to the statistics that we receive at FIDA, we can say we are just making slight progress. But in terms of what the government has done, this year they passed a law, Protection Against Domestic Violence Act.
Yes.
However, it's still taking a while to roll it out because it will take some time. But there's also increased reporting. But there are also different forms of domestic violence that now are coming up, because previously people used to assume it was only physical assault.
Yes.
But there are also different forms like psychological, somebody frustrating you psychologically, someone refusing to assist you economically, the issues of abuse. You see, all that it's still there, someone locking you in a house and refusing to maintain you. So those are still trends going on. But we need to actually improve much more. It's not it should not be there right now in the year 2015. Really, we need to have improved.
And speaking of the other terms of violence, that being emotional, mental, physical, and financial, who should we report to? In terms, we know physical abuse, you run to the police station. These are the forms of violence. Where do we run to? Okay, there are different kinds of laws. Sometimes when someone declines to assist you economically, and they have the capacity to do so, the best thing is to actually, for example, if they are children, they can go to the children's department, and then after that the children's court, so that they can be maintained by their parents. But if it's an issue of some form of spousal relationship, the recourse you have is to actually go to a court of law to seek maintenance, which sometimes actually takes quite a while. And by that time you're really frustrated. But the new act, the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, actually highlights the issue of seeking temporary protection order, so that with that one you can actually seek in terms of how you're going to be maintained, how you can actually access assistance from that person who's actually abusing you, if the person is actually able to. But the challenge that has been is that there are people, when they realize that they are the persons who are providing for the family, when they realize that the person is taken to court, they say they are not working. They actually sometimes even resign or hide. Those are some of the challenges that are actually there. But there are different processes that somebody should take. It's unfortunate that physical violence, somebody has to go to the police, but psychological, police will say they cannot see. But one key issue also is the issue of seeking counseling. You can also seek counseling so that you can also get healing, and with healing comes empowerment, so that you can actually get something to do. All right. In this story that Judy Koskei just did for us, and we said it's been around the media for a while now. There's this issue of diplomatic immunity that is coming up, and this person has gone to report to the police station, and the diplomatic police have told her, well, it's not in our mandate. What exactly should happen in such a scenario?
My understanding of diplomatic immunity is that you are only immune to duties that you performed when you're in the course of duty. You cannot have immunity when you commit an offense against what you call in Kenya law, against a body. For example, assault, like this particular lady that I saw in the media yesterday, she was physically assaulted. You don't have immunity against that, because you're not performing a UN duty to assault somebody, because you know that the UN stands for human rights. You are violating somebody's rights, so there's nothing about diplomatic immunity. What the police ought to do is actually charge that particular person and stop him from leaving the country, so that he can actually face prosecution process locally, in Kenya locally.
Okay. A lot of women are silently suffering in their houses, for fear of condemnation, and others I think police officers won't help in this particular process. Is there usually a plan B when it comes to such matters?
One key thing that I would advise women to do is that the moment you are abused, you need to take a step. If you don't take a step, the abuser will continue abusing you, because they think that now you're comfortable. The challenge is that sometimes people take a back seat because they think he's maintaining me, or he's the one paying the bills, or
that's what I was going to bring up.
He's the one who does ABCD, or my family does not want me to leave him because maybe we got married, we wedded in church, all those issues. But you have to remember, at the end of the day, if he kills you, you'll just be a statistic of death. as a result of domestic violence, you need to take a step. So when you go to the police station, ensure that you report the issue and get an OB number. And also seek medical attention, because we know that right now the government has actually put in place certain hospitals, we call them the gender recovery centers. You can actually go to the government hospital, they fill in a P3 form so that the person can actually be charged for committing domestic violence. But keeping quiet does not really help you. Keeping quiet actually makes it worse. Yeah, it will not improve anything. That's what we tell clients, that it does not improve anything when you keep quiet. You need to come out and speak about it.
With these recovery centers, this is something you brought up, with these recovery centers that have been set up by the government when it comes to domestic abuse, then should I first go there, or do I go to the police station? Because you said at the hospital I'm able to get a P3 form, which I would have been able to get at the police station. So ideally, do I first start with the police station, or I forget about that and then go to these recovery centers where I'll still get the P3 form?
No, you have to go to the police first and get an OB number.
Okay.
Once you get an OB number, the police will refer you to the hospital so that they determine the extent of the injuries that you've experienced. Yes, after that, that's when they actually can commence prosecution. They cannot commence until they determine the extent of the injury that the victim or the survivor has actually experienced.
Okay. And maybe you can tell us, there's FIDA and its role when it comes to such scenarios.
Okay, for FIDA, what we do first is that the survivors who come to our offices, we call them our legal aid clinics. We have an office in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu. We offer them counseling first at the first instance. In as much as we know you've gone to the police, but we offer you counseling because we believe that you're traumatized, you're someone who needs to heal. Because if you're dealing with a client who has not healed, then the challenge is that the client might end up even withdrawing the case from court. After offering the counseling services, which sometimes take several sessions, it's not a one-off session, then after that we follow up with the police and the department of the Director of Public Prosecution's office to see whether there can be prosecution. But on the other side also, we follow up the issue of the economic support to this particular person who has actually come to us, and then we'll offer legal advice and representation. That's what happens. But the challenge is that clients come along the way when they feel that they are much better, they actually drop the case, or they stop coming. Yeah, because now the family has come to them and talked to them, or the abuser has actually offered them money, or maybe now they're in love once more, so they stop coming. So when the abuse recurs, that's when they come back.
So you're having a lot of that happening, where someone comes, goes through the process halfway, goes back home, and then later they come back.
They come back again and say, my file was, I opened a file here 3 years ago.
Wow.
He improved, then now it started again.
Will we be able to change that mindset?
Yes, but it will take a while. Attitude change takes quite a while, because there's the issue of the culture vis-a-vis the law, vis-a-vis family, vis-a-vis religion. It will take a while.
Okay. And finally, how do I help my friend, who has been going through domestic violence when it comes to the healing process? What role do I have to play when it comes to my, my friend who is going through domestic violence?
First, please tell them to seek counseling. Nowadays, there are very many places that offer counseling services. Talk to them to speak out. Tell them keeping quiet will not stop it. It will actually enhance it. Then, some of them might not want to go through the legal process. There are people who don't want to go through the legal process. But at least let them get healed. In terms of psychologically, let them get healed. Then after that, you tell them these are your options, so that you can choose whichever option you want to go for. But of course, you can't force them. But at least you've actually done something. But if it becomes worse, the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act is very clear. For you, if you're not seeing that your friend is not acting, you are given the right actually to report on her behalf. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Christine Ochieng, thank you so much for joining us this morning and giving us insight in matters domestic violence, and hopefully it will be a trend that will go down, and not rise up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I'll hand you back over now to Willis Raburu. Willis.